So I want to shift our discussion now to gears and modes. Now, Hobie Cat has basically three gears, very similar to what like a three-geared car. All right, most cars have four or five, but the Hobie has three. At least for this video, it does. The first gear is your starting gear. It's your right off the starting line or at a stop sign where you're at a dead stop, you just come out of attack, or you just have really low speed and you need to get some flow over the rudders as quickly as possible. And what you want to do there is you want to have the sails trimmed, but with a lot of power in them, meaning a lot of draft in the sail. So I will sheet them. I'll have them going upwind. I'll have the centered, the traveler centered, and I'll bring that sheet on well, but I won't. I'll still leave it off. Sometimes as much as that much. Just depends on the wind conditions. So that this is fully powered. I don't want to rip it all the way in. I'm going to save that for another time. So I want a full-bellied main. Ditto with the jib, all right? That's coming out of attack or off the start line. Then once we get a little bit of flow over the rudders, we're ready to shift into second gear. And second gear is to get me from that kind of water over the rudders gear into hull speed, into full power mode, full speed mode. And so with that, I'm going to bring on the main sheet a little bit more, not all the way. And same with the jib. And with the jib, of course, it's just a very little bit, makes a big difference. And now we've got some draft, and but we've sheeted on so that it's less draft because we have more wind from the boat speed. And then our third gear, that's our full speed mode. And I'm sheeted on. I'm looking at my telltales, which I talk about in another video, and making sure that they're all streaming the way they need to be. And we're in full speed mode, and we're going like a scalded cat. Okay, so those are our gears. Start mode is first gear. Second gear is acceleration mode, and then third gear is our full speed mode gear. Then we also have three modes, all right? And we have a high mode, a regular mode, and a low mode. I'll start with the low mode. The low mode I'll use coming out of attack, maybe off the start line if I'm at the pin or have some room to do that in, and because it's really good for getting accelerated real fast. Low mode is great for first and second gear, and it's also really good when you're going upwind when you see a lot of waves coming. Sometimes if it's just one wave, I'll steer into the wave, but if it's going to be a set of waves, like three waves in a row, I might just probably put the bow down and power through it. Certainly after those waves go past me, I'll put the bow down, get my speed back up until I'm into the next mode, which is my regular mode. This is the one that I just normally feel the most comfortable with. And I'm just sailing that with my telltale streaming the way that I like them. The third and final mode is high mode. And the high mode is where you've called a thin ley line, or maybe you've tacked just shy of the ley line, and you don't want to put in two, you think you can make it, and it's not worth putting in two tacks. High mode is slow. It's slower than regular mode, but it will help you climb a few ladder rungs if you need to make a mark or get out from somebody's gas. If there's somebody directly in front of you and you want to go into, you're behind them, you can go into high mode, get clear of them, and just basically change lanes, a couple of lanes, and now you can get back into your regular mode. So there's, you can see where you can use these modes at different times on the course, and the more you use them, the more you recognize the situations, and the more you use them. The way that we do the high mode is we put more weight on the leeward hull. So if we're double trapped, I will send my crew into the trampoline. So everyone else is double trapped and I'm single trapped. But that extra weight allows me to turn higher up into the wind. Like I said, it's not as fast as regular mode, but it beats having to do two tacks to make that mark. All right. If we're both sitting on the trampoline, I'll have my crew move to the leeward hull to again put the weight on that leeward hull, and it just lets the boat just really start to rotate up into a high mode. And that's a real good trick for controlling your boat and figuring out when you need to change lanes up a couple of spots. So remember that. And I want to close this one with some of my favorite sayings. I don't know that they necessarily have any context to what we just spoke about, but I remember these because I use them all the time. All right, so just a little bonus, I guess, if you will. Some of them do apply, others won't. And the first is that you can't point without speed. And man, you see these guys, he hasn't gone into high mode, right? And he's pinching and he's trying to make the mark. Oh, I can make it. Dude, you're not going to make it, all right? You can't point without speed. You would be far better off to put the bow down, get some speed, and try to slingshot around, depending on where he is or whatever. But you cannot point without speed. Second saying is that speed is a tactician's best friend. I call tactics on a variety of boats. And yeah, if we're dialed in, it makes my job as a tactician a lot easier. It makes my good calls look stellar, and it saves my bad calls, or at least doesn't make them look quite as bad. Another one that I learned from Stuart Walker is cross them when you can. So if you look like, if you're on the same tack and you're out bow out and they're coming on, if they're coming on, you tack and cross them when you can. And if you need to tack back, you can. That's a tactician, tactical thing, I guess. Another one my friend Jeff Janders taught me was never tack or jibe away from the lead. If you're in the lead, until you hit the ley line and you're dang sure that you're on that ley line, don't tack or jibe away unless you have a really good reason. Another one, these are all, now that I think about it, these are tactical issues, is foot to the header. So if you look ahead, say you're behind, and you see some boats out there, maybe they're in another class, and all of a sudden they've got their bows down as a fleet, that means that the wind is headed on them, and you would do well to put your bows down to get there as quickly as possible. Because if you tack into a header, you tack onto a lift, if you understand that. Sailing downwind, just make sure you sail away from the new breeze. So upwind, you want to sail towards the new breeze. So if you're sailing and upwind and the wind, you see the wind go right up ahead, then you're best off tacking early, getting right, and then tacking back. Downwind, it's the total opposite. You want to sail away from the new breeze. And so if you were sailing and there was a righty looking upwind, which is a lefty looking downwind, then you would want to go right sailing downwind. I hope I don't confuse us too much. And you want to just sail away from the new breeze. When you're sailing downwind, sail towards the breeze when you're sailing upwind. Hope I didn't confuse that. That was a bonus on some terms. You might write them down. Start using those as well. Those are tactical ones. And good luck with the sailing theory, making your boat go fast.